Hello from another cattle grid on a trail. It's sunny. It wasn't supposed to be sunny, but I'm not gonna be mad about it. I'm just walking up this rather steep incline to my 11k long run, first week of the half marathon training block. I shouldn't be breathing this hard, which is why I'm walking it. So the rest of the course is a bit easier, so I've got the hills out of the way. It's cool. I'm just doing a big loop near where my friends live. I think it's called Blacklocks. I'll check later. But yeah, sun's out. Who knew? Ooh. Shins are sore today. Probably didn't help doing all that epic downhill yesterday. It was crazy. This was supposed to be a simple 11k long run. First long run of the half marathon training block, nothing dramatic, nothing complicated, just time on feet, an easy pace and a route that I thought I had roughly worked out thanks to the wonderful resource that is Walk Highlands. Naturally, that is not what happened. Walk Highlands, like any other map or route planning site or app, is only as good as the attention you're willing to give it. The terrain was not quite what I expected when I sent the GPX file to my watch. There was more tarmac than I really wanted, then some muddy cross-country style sections, and then just when I thought I knew where I was going, I came across a fence that absolutely wasn't on the map, which is how I ended up having to think on my feet, navigate my way out of a field of sheep, and try and get myself back onto the gravel track without turning my first long run of the block into a full expedition. This is the first proper long run of my half marathon training series, and it did not go to plan. At the start, I was feeling pretty positive. The whole point of this run was to start building the habit of going longer again. Not fast, not hard, just steady. A controlled long run where the goal was to stay mostly relaxed, keep moving, and get used to spending more time on my feet. But routes on a map and routes in real life are not always the same thing, especially when you don't read the route description, strangely enough. And the first surprise was the terrain. I had pictured something more gravelly, a bit more trail-like and a bit less tarmac heavy. Instead, there was quite a lot of road, which is fine, but not exactly what I had in mind for the first long run of the block. My choice of shoes, the Hawker Speedgoat 6s, have a reputation for rapidly wearing down on paved surfaces. Then things got muddier for a while. The route started to feel much more cross-country than expected, which was fun in a chaotic sort of way, but also meant that I had to pay far more attention to where I was putting my feet. This is supposed to be half marathon training, but apparently it was also going to be a balance and mobility session for my ankles. Just like being on the treadmill again at sea, but in a more outdoorsy and muddy kind of way. So muddy. reached the fence. A shiny, new-looking fence. A fence that was not clear on my map. A fence that clearly suggested that I was not going to be going the way I should have been going. And then a gate with a chain. So I couldn't just open it and close it again behind me, and it was all in full view of the farmhouse. We have the right to roam in Scotland, but I don't like the idea of basically hopping a fence to run on what is essentially a driveway to somebody's house. So this is where this simple training run kind of became a bit more of a puzzle. I had to stop, look around, check the map, work out where the track should be, and decide whether to turn back, cut across, or find another way through. The issue was that I was now in a field of sheep with lambs, trying very hard not to disturb anything and to not make the situation worse. But there is something quite humbling about standing in a field, slightly muddy, feet soaking wet through, slightly confused, and trying to look like a competent outdoors person while a group of sheep silently judge you. And eventually, I did manage to work my way back towards the track. It took a bit of thinking on my feet, a bit of route improvisation, and a bit of accepting that the run was no longer going to be the clean, simple 11k I'd imagined. I half climbed, half crawled up a steep hill, finding myself in a sodden field, soft mosses and grass covering the bog beneath. I walked along an old wall to find another gate that was tied shut and decided that I was out of the view of the farmhouse, so I could hop this one. I have the right to walk mostly wherever I want here, but I didn't want to be seen to be trolling the sheep, so over I went, before a sharp descent, following the trails that they'd made in the hillside to find my way back to the track. Back on the trail, which I'm supposed to be doing. Through so much farmland, I hate doing it. How do I get back? Training plans are neat. Real runs are not always neat. Sometimes the terrain's wild, sometimes the map is slightly out of date, sometimes there's a fence where your route's supposed to be, and sometimes you get muddy, lose a line and have to work out a new way through. But also sometimes you should have read the route report and the comments. I did 10 kilometers instead of 11. Got very lost because of the field perimeters and stuff. It all changed and there was loads and loads of ferns. And I didn't want to get in trouble with a farmer, even though it's like right to roam here. You never know. So yeah, I just my legs are sore as well, my shins are really sore. But I had significantly more uphill I've dissipated. Just clean that lens. So yeah, and I had I think a 10k time trial at the beginning of the week. 6k's yesterday, so yeah, I'm happy with that. Anyway, I don't feel bad about it. It is what it is. I didn't quite get the full distance I planned, but I got the important part of the run. Time on feet, bit of problem solving, patience, and a reminder that the half marathon block is not going to be perfect. The other thing is, it is hot in here. It looks like we're underwater. Anyway, yeah, that terrain was like, that's probably actually the first true trail in terms of like, it was really slippy in places and really wet, and like my feet are wet, and you know, I was cross country and things like that. So yeah, like that was a bit different in parts from my usual forestry track. Also, I'm just a little bit annoyed at how much tarmac there was, because I hate running on tarmac and I got my trail shoes on, so I don't like that so much. But I don't know, I think once I got back to the trail, and I'd already made peace with the fact that I wasn't going to run a lot of uphill today, once I got back to the trail after the detour, I was sort of like, okay, this is alright, we've got X amount of kilometres back to the car, and I lived. So really, what's the problem? So what if it wasn't 11k, you know? But yeah, that's me done running now until Sunday the 14th of June. Are we in June? Yeah, June. Because I'm on holiday, so when I come back, 6k easy run. I'm going to try and get some peeps out with me for that, for our little slow running club. But yeah, we go home, get showered, get some food, carry on editing some videos. Yay! This was not the ideal first long run, but it was a real one. And to be honest, that might be better, starting the block this way than pretending that everything's going to go to plan every time. I had fun anyway, it was a bit of an adventure. So if you want to keep up to date with my half marathon training block, make sure that you subscribe to my channel, and if you like the content, feel free to like and comment underneath, I guess, if you want. No pressure, but I'll see you in the next one.